My name is Brandon Billings. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I grew up in central Illinois and I moved to Nashville to come to Belmont University. And I like Nashville enough to stay. I work at my church and I do operations for the most part. So we have many different campuses and kind of help all of them around the city make things happen and make people feel loved, make Sunday happen. I had done a short stint of counseling when I was engaged to my wife. And I think I also at the time didn't know what I wanted or what I was looking for in a counselor or therapist. I had moved, I had just gotten married, I just started two new jobs, two part-time jobs. There was just a lot of change in my life in a really short period of time. And working at a church like that, I would kind of consider very much a helping profession. And so, I'm focusing on other people, I'm pouring into people. I was having some stress and anxiety about dealing with that chaos. And I needed a space to kind of speak that and breathe. Lydia, my wife, I think one of the things she said, the quote I remember was, that might be something to like figure out or talk about with a therapist or counselor. And I was like, you know what, that you are right. That is a great recommendation. That kind of led me into reaching out actually to Insight. I was kind of asking some friends around different places they recommended. One of my friends actually he was interning at Insight at the time, and I was just asking him about if there's anyone he'd recommend there, kind of details about it. And he did mention that they had an income-based scale at Insight, and that was super helpful and really smooth, and also helped me to be able to like have that level of care without the financial stress. Sometimes that cost is high for people like me, and so I'm really grateful that that was an option. I was really interested in meeting with someone in person. That was something I really valued. Just like called and was kind of like, here are the things I want to talk about. Here's where I'd like to meet. They paired me up with someone, and that was really great. And it felt like a really big shift in my life. Started meeting with Emily. Some of the things that were really helpful to me about her were she also had kind of a faith experience. That was something that was really important to me, that was very integrated into my life. And so to be able to like speak openly about that, number one, but then also to have someone who kind of understands that perspective and kind of speak back into that too, I think was really helpful. One of the things, especially about Emily, and this was me also learning more of what I needed in a counselor, was someone who would listen, but would also challenge me to think about things differently or in ways that help me see a new perspective. I'm really good at like verbally processing. I also really thrive on challenging questions to like continue to think about or process that thing or think about it maybe in a new way to relate to whether it's a person or a situation in my life. Some of the changes I've seen in my life, I live in my head a lot of the time. And so to have someone kind of like verbalize back to me and like talk things out is so helpful. I think another thing that has been a really helpful change too is kind of knowing like there's something on the calendar to be able to like unpack that, to be like, oh, if something really crazy at work or at home or in my family happens, be like, okay, I like, if anything, no, I have a designated space to think about and process that. And so that helped like de-escalate a lot of things in my life for me and made the small things that I was making big actually kind of feel smaller again. And so I really found it valuable to give voice to myself and my own desires and my fears and my questions. And I really thought that counseling was a really great place to be able to do that. I think even if you're not having really big mental health struggles, it's so important and helpful to be able to have a space to talk about your life and what's going on and what give voice to what you're afraid of and what you're feeling and what you're nervous about and your dreams and desires, and having a space to process that is really helpful. Like other advice I'd give is just to go for it, because even just that act of like asking for help, whether it's in a big or a small way, I know has given me the ability to learn to ask for help more often. All of those transitions, like new jobs, new place to live, living together with my wife for the first time, like there's so many big life transitions that I was going through. And so to be able to have a person to like process and talk to all of the stress of that, or all of the joy of that, I think was really, really impactful for me.